Hi everyone, I'm glad you're here. Today is Friday. Thank you so much for joining me. It's September 15th, 2023. I want to give a shout out to someone who bought me 2 cups of coffee today. Thank you so much. This here is my Twitter account, which usually in the morning and the afternoon I post different news articles. This first article is about a dog mauling of a boy 10 there in the UK. There's been a lot of them here in the United States. But I thought I would share this and bring awareness. You should be aware and keep in mind of gangs of dogs roaming the streets and attacking people. There's a lot of attacks going on just nowadays for no reason at all. Many years ago, when I lived up on Cobb Mountain, there was rumors about stray dogs, packs of stray dogs attacking people. One night when I came home from work, I heard this growling of multiple dogs as I got out of my car and was heading for the front door. Yeah, I ran when I heard the growling. I didn't even take the time to look behind me. I ran in the house and slammed the door shut. The next article is about Hurricane Lee. It's going to impact parts of the northeast coast of the United States and Canada. They've been pulling the boats out of the waters there in Canada and latching everything down. They're expecting winds as high as 75 miles an hour. Environment Canada is warning Halifax, Lunenburg, and Nova Scotia. Yeah, prepare for damaging winds, large waves, flooding, and power outages. There in China, they have another missing military official. He only took office, I think, back in March. Lee has not been seen in public since August 29th. The other 2 generals that were purged, I guess, were leading the country's rocket force, and that's part of their nuclear facilities and all that. It says here, Lee also currently serves as one of China's 5 state counselors, a cabinet post that ranks higher than a regular minister. Maybe he had not memorized Xai's new books about how he feels people should think. And then supposedly next year, those on Social Security will get a 3% raise. Yeah, that's not going to keep up with inflation. It says here that Mary Johnson with the Senior Citizen League told U.S. Today that despite the decades high cost of living adjustment for 2023, retirees haven't been able to recover the losses incurred by the recent high inflation. In mid-2022, the CPI hit a 40-year high in the wake of the multiple tri-dollar spending package, supply chain issues, exceptionally high gas prices, and the aftermath of the pandemic-related chaos. Inflation was so severe in 2021 and 2022 that the average Social Security benefit fell behind by $1,054, leaving 53% of retirees doubting they will recover because household costs rose more than the dollar amount on their COLAs. I know this one woman who retired, and she thought because she had reached her full age for retirement, she wasn't going to have to pay income tax on her wages. That is a big misconception. A survey in July found that 23% of respondents paid taxes on a portion of their Social Security benefits for the first time during this past tax season, and it's likely that figure may jump due to last year's COLA increase. The French ambassador to Niger and other French diplomats are being literally held hostage at the French embassy. The French president said that food was prevented from being delivered to the embassy in Niamey and that the ambassador was eating military rations. After seizing control of the West African country in July, the military junta ordered IT to leave the country. It later revoked his visa and instructed police to expel him. But the diplomat remained in place, according to the French president, with French authorities reiterating that they do not recognize the authority of the junta. This situation, I think they should have left. They should leave. Reminds me of the situation that the United States went through when there was a political overthrow in Iran. And then in Libya, when they were having civil unrest, our ambassador there, Christopher Stevens, was brutally murdered. Yeah, they shouldn't take a chance. They should get out. An article about sweet potatoes and the nutritional powerhouse for eye health. Blood sugar regulation. Yeah, might want to read that. Yeah, sweet potatoes are really good for you. It has often been called a superfood. Here's my shout out to someone who bought me a cup of coffee. Thank you again. Another Grizzly attack there in Bozeman, Montana. This was horrible. The gentleman's name was Norlander. The man had with him both a firearm and bear spray, but the attack came so quickly and unexpectedly. It actually ripped off his lower jaw with its teeth still intact in the jaw, and it also damaged his trachea. He's in stable condition. He's expected to be released from the hospital sometime in October, but he's going to have a lot of surgeries ahead of him. An update about the earthquake in Morocco. About 50,000 buildings have been damaged, leaving many people without housing. This here is a video about women, how they don't feel safe at night, and they're grouping together in tents to sleep together for safety. Now, I know on the West Coast the gas prices are jumping about 50 cents every week. This here is an article about gas prices in Montana. They have an interactive map here. You can see it's $4.39 there. These are the highest ones, $4.36, $4.30, $4.31, and then it's as low as $3.99 a gallon. In June of last year, it looks like that was the highest at $5.02 a gallon. So they're saying that it probably will reach about $5 a gallon by the end of the year. I believe back then it was like $7 a gallon on the West Coast. Here we have the U.S. average, and right now it's $4.55 a gallon. Too high. And then we have a map of the entire United States. Of course, yeah, California. The average price is $5.52 a gallon. Let's see, Oregon $4.70, Washington $5.04. What would be the lowest? Probably here, Mississippi, $3.30. Let's see, $3.40. Georgia $3.44. Texas $3.43. Where I'm at, oh my goodness, see, I don't drive very often. I usually have delivery, or my kids. Yeah, they use their gas, and then they ask me for gas money. $3.95 a gallon. Yeah, that's just way too high. Florida, $3.65. Yeah. Well, with the auto worker strike, you can expect that the cost of vehicles is going to go up. It doesn't show the price, but you can see here this month, used cars and trucks went up 46%. New cars went up 24%. Yeah, I'm driving my daughter's car that we bought her sometime out of high school. The car is 24 years old, still running. I baby it. We only paid $800 for it. Yeah, I wonder what I could get for it, but I'm going to hold on to it. The only bad thing about the car, other than I have to get the brakes done, is that when winter comes and if it gets 30 below zero, for some reason the engine frees up. I've had, everything flushed out and drained, and looked over. They don't know why, but when it gets 30 below zero, yeah, it just won't run. I wouldn't want to run either, but yeah. But for an $800 car, I'm not going to complain. And then in California, in a town of Sierra Madre, a mama bear and her 2 cubs decided to visit a street side restaurant. Yeah, people were outside dining and they came along and the police told everyone to get inside. And it was shooed off, I guess. They didn't shoot it, they just told it to go on its way with its babies. Then in the tech industry there in San Francisco, California, a whole bunch of layoffs are going on today. Planet Logic, PBC, they're laying off 85 people. Contact Logic, that's an online e-commerce platform that does business as Wish. My son buys things on Wish. It's a discount. Cheap stuff. I thought they were out of China or wherever, but evidently, I don't know if it's the same one, but it says Wish here. They're going to eliminate 152 jobs. Cisco Systems, a digital technological conglomerate, reported that they're going to lay off 350 people around October 16th. They already have laid off 227 people in San Jose and another 123 people in Milpitas. Cisco has been cutting people, over 1,000 jobs in the Bay Area in 2 major rounds of job cuts, it says. China is putting sanctions on 2 military companies here in the United States. One of them was Lockheed Martin, and the other was Grumman Corporation. They say it's a symbolic move because of all the tension because of Taiwan. The U.S. Air Base in Italy is cutting medical care for Department of Defense civilians and families. They're claiming cost cuts. Beside all the wokeness that they're imposing on the military, now they're doing cuts for, they don't get paid very much as it is. And they're cutting their medical for the family members and they play dumb when they wonder why recruiting numbers are down. They say they have to limit care to active duty personnel. Yeah, would you join the military? Another article from Political Wire. Hypersonic missiles are game changers and America doesn't have them. Flying at least 20 times the speed of sound, it could reach anywhere on Earth in less than an hour. In the summer of 2021, test flights ended with the missile strike near a target in China. But it sent shockwaves through Washington. National security officials concluded Beijing had launched a hypersonic weapon, a projectile capable of traveling at least 5 times the speed of sound. The weapons can attack with extreme speed, be launched from great distances, and evade air defense. They can carry conventional explosives or nuclear warheads. China and Russia have them ready to use. The U.S. doesn't. One thing that most people don't think about is if they survive a nuclear war, is all the nuclear power plants. The nuclear blast from a weapon is, only at that moment. But if a nuclear power plant gets damaged, that radiation that it releases would be continual. People don't think about that. Some people, too, are just too dumb to learn. Evidently, the U.S. is going to put more sanctions on Russia military supply chains. Sanctions don't work, and especially now with the economy so bad from the lockdowns and everything else, and I could go on and on. Gas, food, things that are being transported, the wheat from Ukraine. These idiots just don't learn. One bad policy after another. And I guess next Thursday, Ukraine's President Zelensky is going to be in Washington to pick up his money personally. How big is his suitcase? He's going to get $21 billion in military and humanitarian aid. talking about corruption. How much money did the people in Maui get? $700 each? While we're cutting medical aid to our personnel there in Italy. Here in the U.S., over 700 after-school programs for children is also being cut. I'm glad we don't have these climate protesters here, do we? Maybe we do. I think I seen something at Citibank. Here's a video of police protecting the climate activists when they were blocking traffic there in Germany. Yeah. Yeah, it's just dumb. Run their butts over. Yeah, get some pepper spray. Pepper spray them. This was posted yesterday. Another group of single adult men from predominantly African countries crossed illegally into Lukeville, Arizona today, surrendering to Border Patrol. Notice there's no women or children in the group. Yeah, they're from Sudan, Guam, etc. What the Border Patrol is now doing is releasing hundreds of illegal migrants into the streets of San Diego. They're also doing this in Arizona, just dropping them off in the middle of nowhere and telling them, go ahead, go wherever you want. Now, where are they going to go to get food? Granted, once they're gone through all the paperwork and stuff, they get $2,200 a month. I don't know how that is acquired, but yeah, you can see them outside the Dollar Tree. I wonder how many went in and just took what they wanted without paying for it. Supreme Court halts the order blocking the Biden administration contact with social media firms. Now, we all know that they put pressure about what we can post and what we can't post. Yeah, I got that listed here too. Let me show you. I got this from YouTube. I'd said nothing negative. I didn't do anything about any conspiracy theories when I did my video about 9/11. It says, after manually reviewing your video, we confirmed that it isn't suitable for all advertisers. As a result, we will continue to run limited or no ads. Yeah, the censoring is horrible. So much for freedom of speech, right? U.S. Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito on Thursday temporarily placed on hold a lower court ruling that blocked the Biden administration over social media contacts. Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito, who was appointed by George Bush, said here on September 14th, temporarily placed a hold on lower court ruling that restricted federal agencies from contacting social media firms with requests to remove content while the justices consider how to handle the case. Haven't they read the Constitution? He was nominated by President George W. Bush in 2005 and has served since 2006. There's been a deer die-off from a episodic hemorrhagic disease, blue tongue disease. I had to look it up. What's interesting about this disease, it's much like Ebola. They die when they come in contact with deer, with bodily fluids, saliva, feces, or urine, or it is spread by airborne. And they tell you so often that things are not spread by airborne transmission. And this is in Oregon. Fish and Wildlife are reporting an increased number of mule deer that are dying from this virus. I guess you can say it's an invasion there in Italy, one of the islands. They got more people arriving there. I think it was about 7,000 of them. And the town's population only has 6,000. 3 times more immigrants than the inhabitants that live there. Why are they going there? Where are they going to sleep? There obviously isn't going to be jobs. There isn't obviously going to be food for them. I hate to think of, Yeah, you got a city with a population of 6,000 people and 7,000 immigrants decide to invade your town. Yeah, it could be horrifying. After the governor and the mayor there in New York said that they were going to be a sanctuary city, and now the people are realizing how bad it is there, and they're having protests, and yeah. Do you realize that these immigrants, they're illegal? They did not come here legally. They actually are housing them in police stations. They're sleeping on the police station floors now. AOC and Democratic congressmen got drowned out by NYC protesters chanting, "Send them back," angry about the migrant crisis in New York. They're getting, 1,000 a day being sent there, wanting to go there. It might be more. Here's a protest that was on Staten Island there in New York. Yeah, get them out, get them out. They need to close the border. Instead of sending them to San Diego or Arizona or New York City, why don't they just send them all to the White House and drop them off out front there by the fence at the White House? I shared this video and I said these politicians are supposed to work for the people. This just shows that they don't. You know, they got all this ranting and yelling and screaming. You couldn't even hear what these guys were saying. And they just, look at their faces. They don't care what the protesters are saying. He's going on about how they're being so humane by taking these people in because they're coming from areas where, yeah, there's violence and crime and starvation and different types of disasters, flooding, etc. Yeah, we should take them all in. I'm sorry, but it's our country. We got to worry about our own messes here. We got a hurricane that's going up along the East Coast. We're still recovering from past hurricanes. Still recovering from fires and things like that. Yeah, we don't have the money. We don't have the resources to take on, help the world. And, you know, they're so calm and collect. And, no, we got to do this. We got to do this. No, we don't. They're here illegally. Maybe if we let them all into our country and all the bad guys and the corruption will be here. Well, it's already here in the United States, but then we can go to their country and start over. And then they can pay me $2,200 a month to live in their country. For the difference in money, I'd be living like a queen, wouldn't I? 3 men acquitted in final trial for allegedly trying to kidnap or plotting to kidnap the Michigan governor, Whitmer. Evidently, yeah, they were set up. This was all the FBI trying to create chaos here in the United States. It was the FBI's plot. So I'm glad, I don't know if that came out in the trial, but they were acquitted. So that's good. I wonder why the FBI targeted the Michigan governor. I mean, we know that they've assassinated other politicians in the past. I think of California Congressman Ryan. You guys probably don't even know about that, but and then Kennedy. Everyone knows about that. But I wonder why she was on the FBI's radar for kidnapping. They actually wanted these men to kill her, and they kept telling them, no, we're not going to do it. No, we're not going to do it. All right, here it is. The climate activists standing out in front of Citibank, blocking people in New York from going in there and taking care of the business. I often thought, well, what would I do if this was me trying to get to my bank? Just come back the next day or do my business online or get out my pepper spray? I don't know. Yeah. They're not going to change people's mind. I mean, these guys are just a bunch of nuts. The Canadian President Trudeau says the heads of large grocery stores need to come up with a plan to stabilize food prices. He wants it done by Thanksgiving there. And he's threatening them with tax measures. Well, if they tax them, all they're going to do is raise the price of food even more. Another post, is China about to invade Taiwan? Let me make this bigger. Look at all the tanks. Yeah. And they got supersonic weapons, and we don't. And we're cutting our medical care for our soldiers. Yeah. I guess Biden put his foot in the mouth again, saying that blacks and Hispanics and veterans don't have high school diplomas. The United Auto Workers went on strike. I guess 3 different facilities have been shut down. I believe both of my uncles, one's passed away and the other one's retired, but they both worked at auto factories. And I have another relative, could be a cousin. He takes the cars that come off the assembly line and puts them onto the trains. So I don't know how that's going to affect his work. I mean, they still have cars in the parking lot to be shipped out. But I don't know if the strike is also going to affect him working or not. I don't know. I know Disney is kind of like Google with all these different ABC little franchises. I did not know that they also owned ABC News, and they're talking about selling it. Yeah, so I guess all the people that work at ABC News are freaking out. And I think I'll end it with this. An estimated 70,000. Okay, I thought it was 7,000, but it's 70,000 child care centers across the U.S. could shut down due to funding issues. So how much money have we given Zelensky? And we're going to give him next Thursday when he shows up. Here it says tens of thousands of child care centers around the country could be forced to shut down in the coming months because the federal funding they rely on is about to run out. I wonder if this is going to include the boys and girl clubs. Does anyone know? Over the past few years, a large part of child care sector was sustained by a $39 billion emergency pandemic funding. Without renewed funding, an estimated 70,000 child care programs. That's not individual children, that's individual programs. Could shut down, leaving many American families to face difficult choices. Or is this strictly daycare, where they give the families so much money to pay for daycare? That's probably what this is. It's probably got nothing to do with boys and girls clubs. It's probably strictly child care. Yep, send more money to Ukraine. Yep, let more illegals into the United States. Give them $2,200 a month. But when it comes to American citizens and their children, well, they're just thumbing their nose at us, aren't they? Telling us to put our worries where the sun don't shine, right? So what are your thoughts about today's news? Please put your comments down below. Thank you for the coffee. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate your time to be here. Please stay safe. Keep prepping. And I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.